include coverage for chronic conditions. If someone is admitted with a first ever emergency CS, whereby you've gone to the hospital expecting a normal delivery, and unfortunately you end up being admitted, you end up going for an emergency CS, then that will also be covered within the Jamii Plus. Appliances like wheelchairs and crutches, walking frames, those ones are also covered under the benefits. In cases of drug addiction, alcoholism, and any related complications, all those are covered. But you need to note that there's a waiting period of 12 months. That means that when someone buys the cover, for the first 12 months, that is the first year, the pre-existing chronic conditions, those ones are excluded, but they will be covered after, during the second year of cover. Infertility, including IVF treatment, is also covered. If you have corporate cover that does not include coverage for the children, you can also buy a medical cover for your child only, which means that you don't have to pay for an extra cover for yourself, but you can also buy for just the child. Moving on, we also have outpatient benefit, which means that our Jamii Plus is an inclusive cover that has got both inpatient and outpatient services. And these are the limits that we offer, as low as 50,000 per person and as high as 200,000. So you can opt to buy either inpatient only, or you can buy both in and outpatient. Inpatient is a primary benefit, which means that you cannot purchase outpatient only. You have to buy inpatient as a first benefit, and then the outpatient is an optional benefit. Maternity is also optional benefit. Now, to talk also about additional benefits under the Jamii Plus cover, we also have family planning that is covered. We have new chronic diagnosis also covered within the outpatient, subject to a waiting period of 3 months. We have included the yellow vaccine, that is a travel vaccine, which previously was not covered. If you buy maternity benefit for the standard pre- and postnatal expenses, they will also be covered, including the scans that are done during the pregnancy period. We also have prescribed emollients like soaps and oils and pharmaceutical creams as a part of the benefit, but subject to approval by the APA team and subject to that prescription being a part of the diagnosis. HPV and flu vaccine is also covered, baby-friendly vaccination. So these are all the benefits that we have included under your outpatient benefit. We also need to advise that there is a co-payment at the providers listed on the screen. So if you go to the topmost providers, at the high-end providers like the Aga Khan in Nairobi hospitals, there is a co-payment of 1,500, and then you also have a co-payment of 500 under the other providers as listed on the screen. Now, because of time, we are not going to talk about all this, but if you need more information on our Jamii Plus or individual benefits, that is the contact on the screen that you can reach out to, and you'll be able to get more information or detailed information about the APA Jamii Plus cover. So thank you very much. That is what we had for you today on the Jamii Plus, and I will take it back to Zainab to proceed with the webinar for today.
Thank you so much, Anne. Thank you for making us feel comfortable that if we are not within a corporate, we can actually cover ourselves for a very small amount. Please join us for the next webinar. We will be breaking down on the covers and how much to pay for each cover. And we are there for you. We tailor-make your cover. We give you what can fit your pocket, because APA is the home of happiness. Now to our main topic today, our host being Dr. Daniel Katambo. I would like to welcome my colleague who works with me in the wellness department, Joyce Gatwiri. I don't know if Joyce, you are ready. We would like you to introduce Dr. Daniel Katambo and tell us about the topic today. Karibu sana, Joyce.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Zainab. And a good morning to you all. Welcome to today's interactive session. It is my pleasure to introduce our speaker for today, Dr. Daniel Katambo. Dr. Katambo is a consultant physician specializing in endocrinology, diabetes and metabolism, with a strong focus on lifestyle-based prevention and management of non-communicable diseases. He is the founder and CEO of Afya Code, a health tech platform advancing therapeutic nutrition, and has led successful diabetes reverse programs both locally and internationally. His work has supported many individuals in achieving improved health outcomes, including better blood sugar control, weight loss, and in some cases, remission of type 2 diabetes. Doc is an author of Kitabu cha Sukari, a practical guide to diabetes and lifestyle management. So it's safe to say we are in very capable hands this morning. I'd like to welcome Dr. Daniel Katambo to take it away from here. Thank you so much and welcome, Dr.
Thank you, Joyce. I don't know, are you able to see me? And if so, am I too much in blue? Because I can't see that background very well. Please confirm.
We cannot see very clearly. You're very much in blue. I don't know if you've worn blue.
Nope. And that's it?
And that's better. I think we should just proceed with that. The other background was making you a bit unclear.
All right. Good. So thank you so much for that kind introduction. Let me just share my screen. Current background. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we can.
And when I put it on full mode, are you able to see? And now?
Perfect.
It's on PowerPoint presentation mode.
Yes, it is.
Great. So my name is Dr. Daniel Katambo. I'm a consultant physician and endocrinologist with lots of interest in lifestyle management of metabolic conditions, and especially the leading one being type 2 diabetes, of course, obesity, following it up closely, non-communicable diseases generally. On that bit, I started this journey in Bermuda a couple of years ago. That's like 2016. It's been 10 years. And when I started the first program in 2016, 2017 in Bermuda, we saw a lot of success. And that's when I said maybe one day we'll have an opportunity to bring it to Kenya. And in 2019, I did a study in Kenya, Nairobi Hospital, and a place called Diabetes Information and Center. And the data was unfortunately disrupted by COVID-19. And then since then, I set up a clinic here in Fortis, and we've grown for a while now, and we now have 3 branches in Kenya, here in Fortis, Thika, and Naivasha. So I'm very glad to partner with APA in this webinar, and I will shortly and briefly and be precise as possible to make sure that we take you through this data. Remember, what you're going to be doing today is purely data-driven. It's scientific. It is well researched. So there is nothing today that you're going to hear that is not data-driven. It is not researched, and it is well thought out. So because most of the time when I finish talks, people tell me, oh, maybe Daktari, that is not well researched. So I usually like declaring and telling you that what you're going to hear today is well researched and scientifically proven. And as we move on, I saw this a couple of days ago. In fact, this is the first time I'm just presenting this image here. I just want you to think, where are you currently? When you see these pictures, for example, where do you think you are? Are you this guy who is, are you this guy or are you this guy? And then think in the next 10, 15 years, depending on definitely where you are, you need to ask yourself, where will you be? Is it here, or is it going to be that guy who is going to be in your bed and just checking out? And I just want to put this into perspective, that how you look was a decision that you made 5 years ago or 10 years ago. How you will look in the next 5 years or 10 years, or your health, is basically a decision that you are making today. So I see so many patients in the clinic that come that have built a lot of wealth. They have very good covers. And yes, sometimes it's good, not sometimes, all the time, it's good to have very good insurance covers like the one we're talking about today in APM. But I will tell you, if you don't take personal initiative, it's going to be very disastrous. I've seen people who have worked their entire life, and after that, they retire with a kagunia of drugs. So I really want to intrigue your mind today. Think about what you want to be in terms of your physical health in the next 5 years, 10 years. And there's just the same way you invest in your health in terms of insurance, the same way you invest in your finances to say, when I retire, I want to have a house, I want to have a car. It is the same way I want you to invest in your energy. I want you to invest in how you will be looking at. Don't just wake up at 50 and say, or at 55 and 60. And if you are there, then think about your next 5 years. How do you want to do? How do you want to look like? Are you going to be the guy in the hospital waiting for drugs? Are you going to be the guy going to mountain climbing? Are you going to be the guy going for dialysis? Or are you going to be the guy? So all these decisions, we actually make them today. Going back to diabetes, unfortunately, this is becoming a major, major problem in Kenya, not just in Kenya, but in the world. The whole of the world, diabetes is going to increase in the next 30, 50 years. But Africa is going to be the most impacted in terms of health. In terms of any type of disease we look at, and non-communicable diseases, topping the most is diabetes. This is going to hit us so hard, and we are not prepared, unfortunately. Our health system is not prepared at all to manage this condition properly. This condition requires a lot of resources, And Africa is going to have an increase of 34%. The rest of the world is going to have a 46 increase. The North America is going to have 24, the other 50s, 28, but Africa is going to be the most impacted when it comes to obesity, overweight, obesity, type 2 diabetes. The big question is why? Why is it that Africa is going to have the highest impact in terms of type 2 diabetes, in terms of non-communicable diseases? And if so, are we ready to deal with that? Right now, we are talking about 750 million people. And in fact, in the next 20 years, it's projected to be 1.1 billion people in the world to be living with diabetes. 1.1 billion. The population of the world, just to remind you, is about 8 billion. Now, if we are going to have 1.1 billion people living with diabetes, think about that. We really need a lot of resources, a lot of education, a lot of awareness about overweight, obesity, type 2 diabetes. Now, this statistics is the one that is very scary. That we have, in fact, this is a global statistics. In Kenya here, it's a bit higher. In Kenya, it's about 70% people, 70% of people with diabetes do not know that they have it. What that statement says is, take around 100 people that have diabetes and they don't know. If you checked those guys and you took them in a lab, 70% of them had an idea that had no idea that they have the condition. Completely. Meaning that we have so many people out there working with diabetes and they don't know. So what do I say in this kind of talks? Tafadhali, when we finish this talk, walk into a clinic and have yourself checked. Just have a prick. It doesn't matter your body size. It doesn't matter whether you're overweight, your BMI is normal. Just walk into that clinic and have yourself check your fasting sugar, random blood sugar, and HbA1c. Because I tell you, so many people are walking out there without diabetes, and especially with type 2 diabetes, and they don't know. Remember, diabetes is a condition that is silent. You have it and you do not know. The US is spending around $1 trillion on diabetes. Unfortunately, we do not have statistics in Africa on how much money we are spending on diabetes. We do not have public data on how much money we are spending on this. But given the numbers that we are dealing with, we can see that it's going to be chaotic and the numbers are going to increase. Of course, Africa is going to be hit the most. Africa is going to be hit the most. Africa is going to lose the most. Africa is going to have the most in terms of losing human resource, financial resources, health. We really need to invest in this. Otherwise, Africa is going to suffer the most, just the same way we have suffered with other conditions. And unfortunately, this is going to either double, triple, or quadruple, whichever number that we are going to find ourselves in. We are going to have the highest numbers in the future. Kenya alone, just to paint a picture, we are supposed to spend around 15% of our GDP on health. We end up being given about 3% on health, generally everything on health. Now you can imagine how much of that goes to non-communicable diseases and how much of those non-communicable diseases now goes to addressing obesity and type 2 diabetes. We cannot go without mentioning 1 in every 8 pregnancies also get diabetes, what we call diabetes in pregnancy. Now, the numbers are definitely skyrocketing, but in Africa, we have an increase in the people living or taking ultra-processed foods. Walk in any major road right now. Go to Bagadi, now called the Raila Highway, Raila Odinga Highway. Go to Ngong Road, go to Mombasa Road, go to Limuru Road, go to Thika Road, go to whichever road you go to. I promise you, you're going to see food, a big food written for a burger, 2 double burgers, 1 soda. You go, I don't know, pizza, buy 1, get 3 free or something. Whether it is sodas, whether it is juices, all kinds of manner of ultra-processed foods. And this is impacting big time Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. In Mexico, just Mexico in around 2019 there, 2016, they heavily taxed ultra-processed foods, and the money they got from ultra-processed foods, they used it to create awareness on the population, which for me, I think it's a win-win situation. Tax the ultra-processed foods companies, because definitely they are impacting on our health. Use that money to educate the population on health. If you took about 20 people and you put some of them in a room or in an hospital, and you took others 20, either 10 or 20, whichever number you put, and what you do, you try and balance their intake so that you match their calories, their sugar intake, fat intake, fiber intake, and macronutrient intake. You match them. So you put some of them in one room and you put others in one room. 20 on this room, 20 on the other room. But you feed some of them on ultra-processed foods and the others you feed them on natural food, just our natural foods. So ultra-processed foods ni hizi zenye tunaita Burger King, sodas, hizo nimekuwa nikimention. And then natural foods tu ni hizi nyama, mboga, ndomas, sweet potatoes and the rest. The guys who take ultra-processed food gain at least a kilo in 14 days. So just eating ultra-processed foods predisposes you to gaining weight. And eating non-processed foods predisposes you to losing weight. Why do human beings eat? We eat for many reasons. Utasikia mtu nataka energy, I'm running a Standard Chartered marathon, I'm going for hiking, I'm thirsty, I need nutrients, I want enjoyment, we are mourning, we lost our father, we lost our nanny, we are in celebration, we are in Arusi, we are all these things. I'm emotionally stressed, niko kazini, I'm just bored, let me eat. And we also eat because it's just an habit. It is 10 a.m. Leta hiyo chai na mkate. It is 4 p.m. Nipe ile kachai kangu before nitoke kwa ofisi na mandazi. Why are you eating? That point is because of habits. Why do you eat the way you eat? You eat the way you eat because of many reasons. One, personal choice. Nimetaka, mimi napenda githeri, mimi napenda ugali, mimi napenda chapati. Flavor. Chapati ya so and so anapikanga chapati mzuri. So anapikanga githeri poa sana. Mandazi za a certain hotel are very good. So flavor takes us miles to go and eat a certain food. A belief, a value. Personal health, I'm allergic to food. I'm allergic to eggs. Culture, mimi ni Muluya nakulanga ugali. Mimi ni Costeria nakulanga mahamri. Mimi ni Mukikuyu nakulanga githeri na viazi. Economic constraints, of course. If you can't afford chips, then you go and buy viazi and boil. If you can't afford going to probably Kempiski, then you go to Kibandaski. So there are so many reasons why we interact with food. But what I like, just pausing this, is why are you eating? You really need to ask yourself, are you eating because human beings eat? Are you eating because you are influenced on how you eat? So these are questions that you need to ask yourself now so that you are able to make the right choices when it comes to your health in the next 5 years. Definitely. When the new government came into place, we have fertilizer subsidies. And after some times, there was a lot of production of maize. So there is another layer from an individual perspective, social, cultural perspective, community perspective, agricultural perspective, government perspective, and global perspective. Now, the war between Ukraine and Russia, there was a shortage of wheat. There was a disruption of movement of goods. So such things globally affect you as an individual and how you are going to eat. So in as much as you're going to look at that individual perspective, then remember you are on an ever-growing environment that is determining how you are eating. Of course, the biggest, I think, I don't know what we are going to do with advertising, but this is going to be big. Look at TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, emails, food labels. It's all about advertising. It's all about, I can bet you today, if you are driving to wherever you're driving, you will see something advertised on books, on food. If you if you're on your laptop, emails coming on food. Kama you have ever subscribed to these food apps, they just know that your phone will be buzzing with products. Buy one, get two free. Gee, what? You will be getting this. And no one ever promotes healthy foods. Again, think, where do you want to be in the next few years? If you are 30 years, you have 35 years to be 65. If you're 60, you have 5 years to be 65. If you're 40, you have 25 years to be 65. How do you want to look? Start investing on that person now. Now, I want you to remember your size when you look like this. Most of us look like this after campus, after high school, after college. We look like this. Few years later, after 20 years, 30 years, 15 years, we look like this. What happened in between here and here? So the person on your left here is the person that we want to continue until 60 and to 80 years. But for some reason, we meet an environment that is called obesogenic environment, unknown to us. Many of us finish campus and go and buy cars, finish campus and get salaries, finish campus, get married, or you are married, or you get married, or you get kids. And what happens? Mzee anapakuliwa chakula, and after some time has a permanent pot. The wife gives birth and says that she has a baby pot, and the weight stays on. And after 5 years, it becomes your norm. And after 10 years, you change your clothes completely. Little did you know that what affected you was your environment. The environment that okayed, the environment that we are in glorifies this person here. The African population environment glorifies people who are overweight and obese and driving nice cars. Woe unto you if you look like this. Then umekonda, bibi akulishi vizuri, ama ni kama ni bibi akulangi. As in, there is so much myth out there that we need to really start changing. But what really changes you from here to here is your environment. And this environment spikes insulin. Obesogenic environment spikes insulin. And I will take you through that environment just in a few and what the impact is. Now, this person here on your left has 0 diseases, has no insulin resistance, has no diabetes, has no hypertension, has no heart attack, has nothing, complete straight. Akikuja tutampea a very good scorecard. This other person here, 15 years down the line, this guy is the one who has cholesterol issue. This guy is the one who has hypertension. This guy is the one who has visceral adiposity. This guy is the one who has type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, and something we call fatty liver polycystic ovarian syndrome. This guy is exactly us, unfortunately, and they have these diseases. But now when we try to tell you, please move back to here, unaanza kutuambia, the genuine question I get in my office is, daktari, watu kwa ofisi wataniona aje? Daktari, watu nyumbani watasema nini? Daktari, mama yangu in-law atasema nini? Father yangu in-law atasema nini? We are so concerned about our environment that if I tell people to lose, the first big concern I get is the environment that you are in. Is either a relative, either my husband, my wife, or my father, my mom, my uncle, my aunties, and workmates. There is always somebody who is concerned about your health and about you losing weight that you actually do not want to lose the weight. Think about it this way. A long time ago, 2020, we used to manage diabetes using what we call medical nutrition therapy. There were no many drugs at the time. Drugs were not as much. I apologize for this slide, it's not as clear. But how much diabetes did we have at the time? The prevalence of diabetes at the time was minimal. Right now, I can assure you, we have more than 500 different types of drugs to manage hypertension, diabetes, and obesity. But where are we in terms of numbers? The numbers are high. We are managing an environmental lifestyle condition with drugs. This we really need to change again. In 2020, we are managing lifestyle conditions with drugs. In 1920s, we managed conditions with medical nutrition therapy, and those times we used to have less diseases. So the more we advance, the more we are supposed to go back and think what were our relatives or our grandfathers used to do. We become definitely very, very sedentary. Niko kwa ghorofa leo, I'm in 40 suits, second floor, room 211. I walk literally like 10 steps, niko kwa lift. Nafinya lift, naenda chini kwa basement. Napata gari yangu in 5 steps. Naingia hiyo gari, naenda na drive, niko kwa traffic, maybe nimekunywa hata coffee. I get to my house. Na siku hizi nyumba ziko na lift, ama natumia tu stairs 2 na nimefika kwa nyumba, ninalala. Tomorrow I do the same, stairs 2, chini nachukua gari, naendesha, nafika kwa ofisi, basement, finya lift, kuja, ingia. And that has become my sedentary life. And that can be replicated in so many urban population. Look, and what that means is that we are gaining weight. And in between there, you get pre-diabetes, you get diabetes, and you get a complication. Unfortunately, many people turn to us when a complication has already come in. And this is a worry. Because so many people will come and tell you, daktari, I was driving na nikashindwa kuona, and then nikaenda nikapimwa sukari, nikapata iko juu. Remember, diabetes affects your eye. So that was in itself a complication. So what happens when you eat? What happens for you to transition from this guy here on the left to this guy here to this guy here? This guy here is what I'm explaining here. The moment your environment has a lot of glucose, you spike insulin, you gain weight, you have fat in your liver, and you have fat in your pancreas, and that causes insulin resistance and eventually diabetes. So weight is the one that comes first, and then diabetes. But the rest is just a cycle that you get into that really impacts you. Many people are here, labda umeenda nyumbani umechinja ng'ombe munono, umechinja mbuzi munono, umechinja kuku munono. I want to tell you there is no difference between that kuku munono and when we have ourselves. This is a normal viscera. When you do a CT scan or an MRI, you will see less and less fat if your body weight is normal or it's within the normal BMI. But if you have visceral fat, then you can see the white stuff here is a lot. And this is what impacts or what causes insulin resistance and causes type 2 diabetes. And of course, the other conditions spiral in cholesterol issues, hypertension issues, joint issues, cancers, which is exactly what my next slide is. Have you seen these ladies and men that get to 65 and they are forgetting? Anasahau kitu haraka haraka, anaenda kwa daktari anaambiwa ako na Alzheimer's condition. I want to tell you, Alzheimer's the condition right now, that dementia, that type of dementia, because there are many types of dementias. The Alzheimer's dementia is now coined as type 3 diabetes because those plaques are associated with insulin resistance. Whether you're talking about peripheral vascular diseases, retinopathy, gastric problems, inflammatory conditions, some cancers like breast cancers, ovarian cancers, teenagers, vitiligo, atherosclerosis, the enlargement of your heart, strokes, hypertension, thinning of your bones, especially for ladies during menopause. At that point, if you're not really careful, then you get severe osteoporosis and then inflammatory conditions. So all these are driven by insulin resistance. Again, sorry, I have to hammer this point more and more. Where do you want to be in the next 5 years? Start investing in where you want to be. I don't want to be the one being called in Nairobi Hospital, Coptic Hospital, Luton Hospital, being called somewhere in another hospital or whichever hospital to come and look at you because your joints have pain. Now, I keep asking patients, when you come and you're admitted and you're telling me I'm having joint pains and I think it's osteoarthritis, I tell you, and then you're telling me my dad has arthritis, my mom had osteoarthritis. This guy here is about 70. I'm just saying, maybe he's 99 kilos. This guy here is 70 kilos, let's say. Of course, this joint here, if those guys, if their height is the same, this guy's joint will have trouble. So we cannot say that our joint will be happy by carrying more than 30 kgs on top of what it's supposed to be carrying. So definitely your back will have an issue because your back is supposed to support 70 kilos and now it has another kitambi here that is like, let's say 20 kilos that it has to support. So you have back pain, you have hip pain, you have knee pain, you have these pains here that are constantly not disappearing. Then on top of that, you have hypertension, you have diabetes, and then woe unto you, or sorry unto you, if stroke hits you, or heart attack hits you, or maybe diabetes gets you and you have now peripheral vascular disease, and you have amputation. As in, it's just a rolling boat that is not going to end. And therefore, my kind message again and again, please invest in your weight today. The little you do helps today to secure that future in the next 5-20 years to come. Therapeutic nutrition is exactly what Afia Code adapted when we started our clinics here in 2021. We invest the most in telling patients exactly what they need to do to overcome the fatigue of weight, the fatigue of trying to align yourself with nutrition. Because I will tell you, and there are so many drugs you will see there. I'm sure, and I will mention drugs because these are now drugs that are in the market. You've heard about Mounjaro, you've heard about Ozempic, there are even now better drugs that are now coming up in the market. And I will tell you they will come, but none of them is going to defeat therapeutic nutrition. None of them is going to defeat lifestyle. None of them. And I will tell you for sure, let's gather this information very well out there. None of those drugs works without lifestyle change. You must mix them. You must at least do it properly. And if you do it properly, you see results. The problem is we are highly dependent on WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups, TikTok, sijui Instagram, sijui nani alisema wapi wapi. Please seek the correct medical advice and you will see yourself losing weight. The most impactful food that impacts on our lifestyle or on our overweight and obesity is actually carbohydrates. I'll show you a few pictures just now. Next is proteins, and the last is fats. So I keep asking myself, why is it that when I tell patients I want you to lose weight, the first thing they tell me, niliacha kula nyama ya mafuta. And then I ask them, but fat has the least impact in terms of your insulin and in terms of your sugar. Given this study, given this, we all know carbohydrates are the ones that spike our sugars the most and insulin the most. And remember, if you remember this picture here, you spike glucose, you spike insulin, you have fatty liver, you gain weight. Are we together up to there? Now, going back here, you spike glucose and insulin. The biggest impact is from carbohydrates, followed by proteins and then fats. The reverse is true. If you took fat, that has less sugar and less insulin, and hence less fatty liver, less insulin, and hence less accumulation of fat in your liver, and hence no weight gain. But unfortunately, there is a very big myth, public misnomer out there that fat makes you fat. That is not true. As long as the fat you're taking is healthy. Carbs, you need to minimize them to almost zero. Proteins, again, to an extent, you can minimize them, but not as much. So if you do the opposite, it's true. You exercise more, you eat healthy, you actually achieve reversal of the same. And this can be seen here. You just reverse or take less glucose in your body every day and see. That causes less insulin in your body, causes severe, very good, small, progressive inputs, weight loss, less fat, less reduced fat in the pancreas, increased insulin sensitivity, and that causes a reversal or remission of type 2 diabetes. Are there studies on what we said? Yes, I really, you will forgive me in this forum. I will not discuss whether they were randomized clinical trials, but these are randomized clinical trials. They have been proved beyond any reasonable doubt that this works. Benefits. The benefits are enormous. In our clinic itself, you come to our clinic, you're on insulin, you're on some drugs we call SGL2 inhibitors, you are on some other drugs, and you start our journey, we promise that we will see you take down on some drugs. We will see you reduce drugs because most of us are on a lot of drugs because of our lifestyle. So unaamka asubuhi, unakula ndoma, unakula sweet potatoes, unakunywa uji, unakula mkate brown ama chapati ya brown, and then unajidunga insulin ama unachukua sulfonylureas, and then now your sugars is able to come down. But when we advise you on exactly what you need to do within 3 weeks, we are able to drop most of your drugs. Remember, I'm using the word most. Not everybody is able to come out of drugs, but at least even if you are to use one drug, other people are able to come off drugs. Others are even able to come off insulin completely. And I want to show you, the most dropped in drug here is actually insulin. Insulin is the drug that we drop the fast because it has the highest impact in terms of lifestyle. So we see this almost 70% drop of drugs in the first 1 month. We are able to do that comfortably and stay off, even without first losing the weight in the first few weeks. So how do we practice this? We have a diabetes reversal program that is really, really well designed for patients. We have stuff that you can use at home, whether you want to use our stuff or not, as long as you can check your BP, as long as you can check your glucose meter, as long as you can get your waist and you can get your waist, we are able to monitor you that. We are able to give you pamphlets. We are able to get you through online classes that takes you 6 weeks, and then we monitor you after 6 weeks. We are able to do an HbA1c. It is highly, highly customizable. We cannot have same size fits all. No, we must be able to look at your environment. Mimi ni Mluhya napenda ugali. How do we adjust? Mimi ni Mkikuyu napenda githeri na viazi. How do we adjust? Mimi ni MSDA, I'm Indian, we are vegetarian, then how do you adjust? So we must prioritize, first of all, safety, and then we must personalize your religions and your socioeconomic and cultural beliefs. And then now we personalize this thing all together, put it together and see what we can achieve as a person or as a group. We take you through an initiation stage, transition phase, maintenance phase, and if you, in any case you relapse, our job is to make sure that we catch you early and we are able to assist you early in the process. So this is kind of a short brief of exactly what happens, but we also have tools that I developed. I developed this book a couple of years ago, like 2023. It's a book that I had in mind. And I will show you a couple of pictures and ask yourself whether we've been doing the right thing or not. And I just put this book together so that I inform people and try and change our myth and our understanding regarding food. Today, so many people like fruits. For example, did you know if you eat 2 bananas can be equivalent to 12 teaspoons of sugar? Remember, yes, a banana will give you potassium. A banana will give you vitamins. That is very true. Sijakataa hiyo tuko pamoja mpaka hapo. But let's have all the information from now onwards. 3 bananas, which you can consume very easily and very fast as you wait for food in your house or while you are driving to a certain meeting or you are driving somewhere, can give you up to 19 teaspoons of sugar. Now, remember our problem, if you remember, our problem was sugar. I'm just getting you back. Our biggest problem here was sugar. Here, sugar stimulates insulin and makes you gain weight. This sugar, the biggest problem that our population doesn't understand is where you're getting the sugar. Sugar doesn't have to be that sugar that you get from Mumia's sugar that we buy from supermarkets. It is not that sugar. In fact, the biggest impact of sugar is from fruits. So many of us have a slight misunderstanding about our fruits. So please, from today onwards, I want you to rethink how you consume fruits. They are not there to give you only vitamins and make your immunity good. They can actually have a very big impact in you having diabetes. And if you're having, developing diabetes, and if you already have diabetes, now let me ask, if you woke up today, you're living with diabetes, and then you wake up today and your your sugar is 6 and you consume 2 bananas, then you have 12 teaspoons of sugar. At 10, check your sugar. You will see it has gone to 12. Why? Because of a banana, which in your perspective, you took it to because it has vitamins, because it is good for immunity. You did not take it because it had sugar. You took it for other reasons. 2 brown chapatis can have up to 27 teaspoons of sugar. Now unasema mimi ni mkubwa, maybe let me take 3 chapatis. That is around 40 teaspoons of sugar. Now, let me ask you, What do you want your body to do with 40 teaspoons of sugar? In the morning, a couple of us today woke up and took arrowroots. Either you took a small one, 2, or 3. A small one will have 5 teaspoons of sugar. These ones will have about 10 teaspoons of sugar. And these ones will have about 15 teaspoons of sugar. Remember, this was an approximate. Science, of course, a lot of calculation went into this, but it was an approximate, which was really good because I used to see patients who come to me. They have taken ndoma in their house. In the morning, their sugar was 6. They take ndoma, they come to the clinic, sugar ni 14. Na waulize imetoka wapi, wananiambia hata wao wajua ilitoka wapi, lakini walikula kenye waliambiwa nyumbani, kenye waliambiwa kitambo wakulange. Then waulize, when the last time nilikula mayai? Niliambiwa nisikulange mayai. Kwa nini? Mayai niliambiwa ina cause cholesterol. Na mayai haina sukari. Even if today you ate 2 eggs, 3 eggs, I can assure you they have 0 sugar. So if you eat mayai this morning and your sugar was 6, I can assure you, check your sugar, it will be 5. It has not gone up. It is low. And mayai is not a source of cholesterol. There is no study, there is no clinical trial that has linked mayai to cholesterol. Ugali, whether brown or white. This picture here, I have put it to the way it is in my book because I want you to compare white and brown. Sometimes your brown thing you're calling brown chapati, brown ugali, brown rice, brown bread could actually have more sugar than the white thing that you are taking. This 193 grams of ugali has 14 teaspoons of sugar, and this one has 12 teaspoons of sugar. The same size, but this is brown, this is white. Yet you find somebody who is having polycystic ovarian syndrome, insulin resistance, obesity, insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, fatty liver, insulin resistance. They are taking brown things because they were told they are good. Be as careful as you can. Fruits, again, I cannot emphasize, the moment you mix fruits, you are mixing sugar together. 12 teaspoons of sugar, 9 teaspoons of sugar, 12 teaspoons of sugar. Be careful. Be as careful as you can. If today you woke up and you ate bread, yogurts, an apple, and some chocolates, this is how your sugar will behave. You spike your sugar, within 2 to 3 hours unasikia njaa, unakula tena itaenda juu. If this morning you woke up and ate eggs, mboga na nyama, your sugar remains stable, hakuna njaa, even up to saa 9 usiku. We can achieve these things. I don't want to bore you more. We have an app that you can actually track yourself. In the next 1 month or 6 weeks, I'm developing a very nice chatbot that can actually be supporting to you within 24 hours. Now you just ask it, you go to your WhatsApp, ask how much sugar is in ndoma. You tell it, I want to eat chapo. Take a photo of that chapo, and it actually tells you exactly how you need to behave, and it will be learning your behaviors. And in the future, maybe after using it 1 or 2 weeks, it will be able now to tell you exactly if you eat this, it will be telling you how much of an impact in your metabolic health it will have. And it will have a reminder so that as time goes by, it will tell you, remember in June 2025, you ate this, and this is what happened. So you will be able to have a very good interaction. I couldn't get that through the app, and therefore we have shifted to AI and chatbot in WhatsApp. That is really giving us very good preliminary results on the same, and very good management of non-communicable diseases. And we're having success rates of more than 70%. So that's about the resources that we have here and how we are able to monitor you. We have data that has been supported, definitely a lot of weight loss, BMI improvement, HbA1c improving. Our patients definitely see an improvement in HbA1c. They come with HbA1cs of 10, 8, 6, and they are able to do well. not only are we seeing improvement in diabetes, hypertension, erectile dysfunction, resolution of gout, resolution of heartburn, resolution of fatty liver, resolution of cholesterol issues, resolution of inflammatory conditions, but even in terms of health, in terms of savings, you as a family, you are able to save on your covers. So if you have APA cover and you have a family cover, I am seeing patients. I actually have so many patients. There's a patient who came to me and told me, Daktari, since I started coming to your clinic, now my cover can finish a whole year. And I now can share it with my patient, with my relatives, because I do not have to incur a lot of drug cost or a lot of investigations, because now this is well controlled. For sure, this is something statistics that we are actually seeing in our clinics. These are our clinics. We have Nairobi, Thika, and Naivasha, which is our most new branch that is opening. Actually, our grand opening is next week. Do we compare this with UK, the US? Yes. In this clinic in the US, in the UK, 97% of people who attended this clinic showed some benefits. 97% of people, whether that benefit was feeling good, sleeping well, improvement of depression, improvement of weight, improvement of HbA1c, improvement of blood pressure, improvement of PCOS, all those just through lifestyle change, they showed. If you had pre-diabetes and you walked into this UK clinic that practices nutrition therapy, 93% of those people were able to put it into remission. If you had type 2 diabetes within 5 years, you are able to put diabetes into remission. Almost by 77% of those people are able to put type 2 diabetes into remission within 5 years of having type 2 diabetes. If you have had it for more than 5 years, then you have a 50% chance of you taking your drugs off completely, off drugs and dependent on lifestyle. The other 50% will be able to reduce their dosages and use very, very kidogo drugs to support their lifestyle and have a very nice health. The same happened in VitaHealth. VitaHealth, they were able to see 60% off drugs, 60%, 94% off insulin. 94% of patients took off insulin. 1.3% improvement in HbA1c, 30 pounds weight loss, and they had a retention capacity of 83% in 1 year. And of course, again, saving a lot of money in terms of whether you're talking about insulin saving. GLP-1s, these are the drugs called Ozempic, Mounjaro. This, they saw a saving per individual cost, because we are going to see, if not, we are already seeing, I am already seeing patients who are coming to me and they are directly asking me, Daktari, mimi nataka tu GLP-1, and that's it. But if you mixed it with lifestyle, we are able to see a lot of reduction in costs in the same. Now, if there's any magic that has happened in the last few years, is continuous glucose monitoring. Continuous glucose monitoring is not just if you are very serious within the next 5 years, then I would want you, whether you have diabetes or not, to look for this gadget called continuous glucose monitor and wear it and check your sugars. Whether, and I repeat, whether you are diabetic or not, if you just want to be serious, just check it. And if you're living with overweight and obesity, please, even more, please come for it. We have some that we have here. And these gadgets are helping us look and monitor your sugar. If you eat ndoma, what is the impact on your sugar? If you eat mchele, what is the impact on sugar? If you eat something, any spike you see tells you and gives you a very good feedback on exactly what you need to do. This is a miracle gadget, even for patients who have type 2 diabetes, because now they see real time on how their sugar is behaving. And it's really coming in hand. You will allow me to skip these other slides because it's just an explanation on how to interpret this. and I don't think it is necessary here. But I now want to finish off by saying that we have a lot of success stories. These are guys I put here. If we were to write a whole book, we will probably write 3 books on success stories. All our patients show success stories. But this guy in particular, we started with him in 2019, and he remains like this and off drugs. This lady had had diabetes for more than 20 years, diagnosed in 1998 due to gestational diabetes, came to our clinic in 2021 and did very well and been off drugs since 2021. Any questions? Asanteni sana kwa kunisikiza.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Katambo, for that insightful and practical session. We will now move into the brief Q&A segment. We've received quite a number of questions through the chat, and I'm going to highlight some of them. Some are very, very interesting, Doc. I know you're going to have quite a bit to say. So the first question is, is taking tea with a lot of sugar risky when it comes to diabetes?
Yes, we try as much as possible to avoid that additional sugar on your tea, because we get that sugar, as you've seen in my presentation. You get a lot of sugar even from ndomas, sweet potatoes, chapatis are brown. Yeah, so if you can avoid that extra sugar, the better. But the question probably I would ask is, just imagine yourself eating 2 eggs na mboga asubuhi and 1 teaspoon of sugar in your tea versus somebody who eats 4 slices of brown bread. Who has done well, Joyce?
Very interesting. Between the person who has taken a spoonful of sugar.
Just 1, maybe 1 or 2, and somebody who has taken maybe 3 ndizi, maybe.
Would I say there's a difference? There's no difference. Maybe the person who has taken the banana might have the advantage of fiber.
Not as much. In terms of sugar, the person who has taken banana will have more impact and struggle in weight loss. But again, I still say if you have to take sugar, please, those are 0 calories. Avoid them completely.
Right. Thank you for that. Comment on taking a teaspoon of vinegar in glass of water while taking carbohydrates.
While taking carbohydrates?
Yes.
Vinegar tunaweza tumia tukifanya vitu zingine, lakini si saa yenye tunatumia kwa carbohydrates. But yes, there is a lot of research right now that has shown that there is, kama ungepata peak ndefu hivi, because of the spike, there is slightly delayed absorption. That is true. Just slightly delay.
Very interesting. Slight delay.
Yes.
I think that's a bit helpful to think about it.
Yeah.
So someone is asking if this insight is just useful for diabetic patients, or is it useful for also other individuals?
I began by saying it is for everyone. We are really, the reason why we are, you see, a person who is diabetic is just maybe 100 yards ahead of somebody who is at risk, who does not have diabetes. So I began by saying that this information is not just for people living with diabetes. No, it's for everyone. Please, let's cut down. Let's cut down on how much. Number 1, how much, why are you eating? I remember I started with those slides. Ask yourself, why are you eating? And is it necessary for you actually to eat? Because at the time you're eating, is it necessary for you to eat? Because I see people wanakula asubuhi, saa 4, saa 7, saa 10, usiku, and even before they go to bed, they're still eating. And I'm asking, why are we really eating? So are we eating just because the food is available? Or are we eating because we actually need the energy, we need the nutrients, or the macronutrients that the body needs? And if you just reduced that by itself, then you see success.
Thank you for that, Daktari. I think that's food for thought, literally. So the next question is it okay to mix Ozempic diet and exercise to lose weight?
In fact, that is what is recommended. But what I'm seeing the most in my clinic is the people who are coming with Ozempic or GLP-1s, they are highly not doing, they're almost zero. Because when somebody says diet, what is diet? What is exercise? But you are very keen in making sure that this Ozempic, you're getting it every Wednesday or Wegovy. You're getting it every Wednesday without failure. The dose is, you're actually injecting yourself, you're increasing the dose, you're doing perfect. But what else are you doing? And remember, 70% of our problems is in lifestyle, diet, physical activity and diet. Maybe you can use that 10% in terms of drugs to manage a condition like weight, but not the other way around.
All right. Thank you for that. I think that is very clear. Are vegans and vegetarians better off in terms of keeping a healthier self than meat and fat eaters in the war against diabetes?
Unfortunately, no. So I go to, let me not say here, I go to a certain community here in Kenya that is vegan. And unfortunately, they have a higher preference of diabetes than the general population. Think about it this way. When you see a vegan, what are they likely to be eating? More carbohydrates, more starchy food, and less proteins and less, okay, they eat vegetables, yes, of course, but the less proteins you take, I think, unless it's well adjusted, I'm not saying it doesn't, because this is where caution is applied. Unless it is really well adjusted, which you can get very good benefit from vegetarian diet, most of them tend to indulge in either pasta, rice, ugali, chapatis, hizo zinaitangwa nini, vegetable curries that have a lot of starch in them. Now, on the contrary, how about somebody who is highly dependent on meat, like our Maasais and our vegetarian? Now, who is more sicker? Maybe food for thought.
Yeah, that is a very clear, that is a very interesting point of view.
Yes.
Someone is asking about cereals. Which cereals would you recommend?
Which, sorry? Which?
Cereals. I'm not sure if it's cereals, the beans and type, or is it cereals?
Oh, the legumes.
Yes, legumes.
Well, legumes, remember, the only thing I comment about legumes, remember, legumes are not proteins. They are not proteins. They are starch. We must get this statement right. In high school, we were told that plant-based sources, plant-based, that if you eat these legumes, you are going to get some proteins. Sources. They did not say that these are proteins. So when you eat legumes, yes, you get some proteins. And actually, it is less of the protein than the carbohydrate. Most of them have around 70% starch, which is going to be sugar in your body, and about 30% proteins, which is good. And that's how actually vegans get their proteins from. But you see, now they overdo it. And when you overdo it, then it ends up, a patient comes to my clinic and ananiambia, daktari, nimekula maharagwe na githeri asubuhi. So in their mind, they ate proteins and a starch. But what they didn't know is that they ate two double starches in one plate. What they didn't know is that when you're eating chapati madondo, beans and chapati, you are eating two starches in one plate, and that is a disaster.
Wow. So even if I eat my rice and beans, I'm doubling up on my starch.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that, Daktari. Talk about gut health.
Gut health, very interesting. Yesterday I had, there was a conference. I don't know if there was anyone who was here, and it was in Amara. Amara, the one next to what's that place? Les Serene. And I see people populating themselves with probiotics. What else? Something gut cleaning, what? There's a lot of theory around that, but to be honest, there are no clinical studies that support anything to do with the gut health. We need cleansing, we need probiotics and the rest. So I have seen so many people do those things, but there is no scientific support in the background.
What about foods that enrich our good bacteria? Actual foods, not the supplementations or other sources.
Like which one?
Some people talk about fermented milk. Some people talk about, eating cabbage that has been the fermented natural foods.
Yeah.
Are they good for our gut?
Yeah, definitely. But you see, the idea of gut is where I have a problem, because I don't think it is the fermented milk that will have good gut health. You understand what the message I'm trying to say? I mean, you can take your fermented milk, but let's not have the idea that now I'm cleansing my gut, because this is the extreme that I see. So if it's your fermented milk, you are yogurt once in a while, but the yogurts in Kenya are highly I did when I was writing the book, I took some check, and I just want to say we need to be a bit more, maybe utengeneze yogurt nyumbani.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, yeah, that's the And I remember what did I do? Somebody when I did the book, I hired a whole jikoni. There are people who give large scale jiko. So you cook different types of foods, and we are taking pictures. And somebody came and hired a floor on top of us, and they make yogurts, and they get these very nice yogurts in the market. And they told me, you think, Daktari, what you're doing here is what is in the food labels. And thinking it's a joke, I took it and then I measured it. So I hope our regulators can really be a bit more aggressive in checking such. Otherwise, it's a bit scary. Even nyamas, we are saying nyama is good, but who told you the kuku that you're eating is not injected with something? Or even sukuma wiki that you're getting. There was a clip that went around, and there was sukuma wiki zenye zimegrowiwa sijui at the river. I mean, I'm all around. I tell people about health and food the way it is supposed to be. So you just have to be extra careful. Yes.
Thank you, Daktari. That is also something to think about. Someone is saying seems like sugar is a no-no. Which food or combination of foods will keep a healthy body healthy and humming nicely?
I think that is really personalized. Remember what I said. Personalization is important. What are you inclined to? Why do you eat? What do you like eating? Why do you like eating? And currently, where is your health, and what do you want to achieve? So I don't want to bring a blanket statement, but as much as you can, please try as much as you can to reduce the amount of fruits that you are taking. Try as much as possible to reduce the carbohydrates that we are taking significantly, please. And if so, skip meals. Tafadhali. And when you skip meals, you're not skipping them. You're not fasting. We have labeled this thing called fasting. You're not. Human beings are not supposed to be eating asubuhi, saa 4, saa 7, saa 10 na jioni. Now, if I tell you to skip lunch, you're telling me I'm fasting. It's not. We human beings are not supposed to eat that much of meals.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Katambo, for that. I think there are so many questions coming in. We are going to be able to take about 3 more, and then we will share with you after this for you to probably share a response, and then we'll share with the respective individuals. What is the impact of taking one good meal a day?
What's the impact of taking one meal a day?
Yeah, and that is related to the next question about fasting. And I think you've commented briefly about it. I don't know if you have something else to say.
Yeah, all I can say is that the least you eat in a day, the better. So if you can achieve the least amount of food times you're eating, the better for you. So if you can achieve 1 a day, then the better for you. If you can achieve 2 from 3, then the better for you. If you can skip 1 or 2 hours and then you eat your next meal from the one that you've been eating, then the better for you. What am I trying to say? I really don't advocate a one size fit all, because I've been giving these talks now, I think even Joyce, you know me, for a very long time. And many patients come and say, but qua talk, you said we do this. I want to be very clear that there is no one size that fits all. If today you skipped your lunch, it's better than eating lunch continuously on every day. You could say, me on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I skip my lunch. Somebody else could say, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I skip my dinner. So it's up to you what really fits you. Somebody else could say, I like one meal maybe on Thursday. I like one meal maybe on Tuesday. Or I like one meal continuously.
All right. Thank you for that response. We're having a lot of questions of people asking you about your location and also about your blood, continuous monitoring machines for blood pressure and also blood sugar. If you could share the contacts that or the email someone can write to on the chat, and then they can get the response. I'm seeing a lot of questions regarding the same. Then you can comment about type 1 and if at all it can be reversed, sorry. Then we have also some questions coming in about insulin regulation and how it is related to 1 meal a day. Then I think after that I'll hand over the remainder of the session to my colleague Zainab. Thank you so much, Doc. Over to you.
So currently we have 3 clinics, as I said. There is one that I am in that is located at 40 Suits, Upper Hill, second floor, from 211. I've just put our contacts there. We also are located in Thika. We have a clinic there in Thika at Ruby's building. And we have our newest branch that is currently, we are launching it actually next week. And it's in Naivasha, and the building is Naivasha Hospital, Specialist Plaza. Regarding whether type 1 diabetes is reversible, type 1 diabetes, the mechanism of what results in type 1 diabetes is very, very different from type 2 diabetes. Your sugar can go up due to many reasons. One of the reasons is what we were talking about today, our lifestyle, our eating habits, our driving, our sedentary lifestyle. But there are other conditions like type 1 diabetes where it's completely out of your control. It's not lifestyle, it's just an autoimmune disease, and an autoimmune disease that attacked your pancreas, and you do not produce insulin at all. And in this case, the only treatment is insulin. So in type 1 diabetes, we can help you how to manage your food, reduce your carbohydrate, help you with carbohydrate count, and help you achieve less insulin injections. And that we have seen a lot with type 1s, and then less hypoglycemic episodes. I don't know what else you asked me. Was it, the gadget? The gadget, it's actually, I've just finished registering a newer model that is called i6 with PPB. It will be with us here in the next maybe 4 weeks because I just got the certificate yesterday. So I'm applying for importation certificate. And this is where you will be able to monitor sugars. And I will kindly now request APA if they can cover, especially for those guys who have type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. There's something called intermittent continuous glucose monitoring, so that it's not covering because of course it can be expensive, especially in Kenya, you're not covering you're not giving this person every time akuwe na hii machine. Unaweza cover maybe for 3 times a year, and that has been shown to just change the behavior of that individual with diabetes. So if insurance can help us with that and our clients, that would really be helpful. But of course, I'm sure there is a lot of math that goes into it. I don't know, kama kuna swali lingine sijajibu.
We've had you. I'm sure we're going to pick that. At APA Insurance, we have a special program. We call it the Wellness Program, which within the Wellness Program, we have the Chronic Disease Management Team. It's a beautiful program. We assist you to get in touch with Daktari, and that is how we were able to bring him today. And in regards to the gadgets, please, if you need the gadget, talk to us through our wellness programs, and we will be able to join you with Daktari. Of course, there's cost implication, but Daktari, tutakutana hapo nyuma ya tent. We will see if you can you can bring the cost down a bit for us so that our patients can benefit. Remember, our patients who are managing diabetes, especially the ones who are on cover, please note the wellness team is here with you to work with you all the way. Reach out for guidance, reach out for any challenge we are having, and we'll get hold of Daktari. One of our viewers has said, I'm listening to you all the way from Uganda. Thank you so much, Uganda team, for joining us. Do matoke add sugar in our bodies? Please advise on the recommended food in Uganda.
The good thing is Uganda have a lot of variety, very good variety. I have several patients that come from Kampala and Jinja. Ama inaitwa nini mahali maji inaanzia? Lake Victoria. The truth of the matter is, yes, matoke can spike your sugar. So you really need to reduce the intake significantly or altogether avoid it. The good thing is we have a lot of substitutes to the same. In Uganda, we have varieties. I have patients who come and tell me some vegetables that I've never had before. So yes, reduce the matoke, take more vegetables with some meat. And do not be scared. Unless there is any health problem, please do not be scared with meat, even if it's red. Please don't. And if you need further advice, then you can visit us and we can advise you.
Yeah, thank you, Daktari. I work out 3 times a week. I burn about 450 to 550 calories per workout. I've maintained 85 to 86 body weight. Should I be on protein only diet, or a bit of carbs will help with energy for the body and mind?
Again, it's very good, and thank you for sharing. Now, again, the one thing I talk about exercise is good for your body. Please keep it up. Keep it up. However, that is not the main driver of metabolism. I can assure you, I have so many patients who go to the gym and they have type 2 diabetes. They actually, I wish one day patients would be recording themselves. Nile nashinanga kuwauliza permission. I have a very young guy, 32-year-old, 34-year-old, 37-year-old, 40-something-year-old, gym goers. They go to that gym every day. They have actually very nice muscles, better muscles than me, but they come with high sugars. Why? You can never outdo your folk. Remember that. You can never outdo your folk. So first check your food, then go to the gym. Check your food, then go to the gym. And then at some point, nature slows us. Nature slows ourselves. So this gym we go, you're burning and all, you're doing all this. At some point, unakuja una slow. And when you slowed and you did not go to the gym and you did not learn about food, you never put maanani about food. You didn't check, how am I supposed to eat? What am I supposed to eat? Then now, because you slowed down what you've been eating, those calories, now you're not burning them. And what happens? Now you gain weight and you develop diabetes. And the only other question now I will throw a puzzle to the person. Does calorie matter? Does where you get your calorie matter? Does it matter where I'm going to get my calories? Does it matter whether I'm getting my calories from fats, proteins, or carbohydrates? Think about it.
Thank you, Daktari. I thought for the day. Allow me to still go back to Uganda. Thank you, our Uganda brothers and sisters, for joining us. I'm also in Uganda. Average meal in Kampala has 2 starches, each posho, either posho, banana, chapati, rice, or what they call sauce. Sauce is what you said we should be eating, Daktari? Greens and meat.
Yeah, yes.
Sauce combines of greens and meat. Culturally, this is looked down upon.
Yes.
What is your advice?
Yeah, and I like, let's start with the end. Culturally, this is looked down. Why? Why? Why is it that when you call me for a meeting that the only thing we are supposed to eat is plantain? Why is it that we cannot meet in Java or we meet in Dominion? Why is it that we cannot meet in Dominion and eat sukuma wiki and go home? Why? Why is it that culturally we look down upon those things? Why? Why is it that you cannot come to Rurasho and I serve you stir-fried cabbage? Why is it that all our Rurashos and our events have cakes and desserts that are all sugar? But when you look at even some hotels these days, there is a food chain that when I go to eat, in fact, I never meet people there because I lack something to eat. I'm looking at their menu and it's all carbohydrates. It's all ultra-processed foods. There is no food chain today that has our indigenous foods. Why is it that our kids today, that the only vegetables they know is sukuma wiki, cabbage, maybe broccoli, and cauliflower? The rest is going to disappear. Our kids do not know what mrenda is. They do not know what kazera is. They do not know why. Why? And this is the ultimate problem that is leading us to diabetes. And that is why this concept, this myth of that if I sleep without a starch, I will sitashiba, ama nikikula chakula enye haina starch, sitashiba, needs to end. So that starch, yes, you can eat it, but kidogo, kidogo sana, sana, tena sana.
Thank you, Daktari. I wanted to close, but somebody has really reached out and saying this is very important. Just before I ask that question, remember here at APA, we have the wellness program. We are able to deliver your medication at home for you wherever you are. I think when I talk of medication, Dr. Katambo is not smiling, but unfortunately, we still have to work with the medication.
Yes. No, of course, yes. No, we have to. I actually incorporate drugs. I've not thrown them away.
Thank you, Daktari. We can deliver your medication at home. We connect you to specialists like Dr. Katambo, nutritionist, psychologist, and others. Now, one of our viewers says, I really need to ask this. How can I, this is important. What can one do if you have taken all interventions, including that of what Dr. Katambo has said, including exercise, but sugar remains on the borderline? Do I have a problem, or what is how can I be assisted?
So first of all, thank you for your question. And just to quickly answer you, it's hardly are we going to have taking all the interventions and they don't work. Maybe the only time I see that is when your insulin resistance is a bit too high. And what we do now, this is where the drugs come in. We can give you some drugs, we populate or we bring your insulin resistance a little bit lower. And then once we lower and we see your sugars are now lower, your HbA1c is now okay, then we can slowly taper them off. Very small percentage of people actually have that same effect where you have gone to the gym, you have tried to do diet, but that tends to be if you have had diabetes for a longer time. and that creates a bit of resistance, meaning that we might introduce 1 or 2 drugs, and then once everything spirals or you have lost significant weight, we can lift 1 or 2 drugs or even lift all of them out.
Thank you, Daktari. Viewers have said we need that machine in Uganda and what is the cost. Today we are not going to discuss the cost because we've not met Daktari behind the tent. But yes, we do have an APA office in Uganda, and you can reach us through the APA office in Uganda, or you can reach us on our email that we shared, wellness@apainsurance.org, or as Joyce types in the chat, we have a WhatsApp line, 0720 600 577. Now, I don't know whether to ask this or I have to end somewhere. Our viewers, please, for non-meat lovers, it is green peas protein. And before you answer that, Daktari, somebody has asked after your presentation, does it kill the usual that we are advised by nutritionists, eat as a king for breakfast, as a princess for lunch, as a beggar in the evening? Do we throw that in the trash?
I will start with the last one. Ask yourself, if that is what we have known, is it as a king, then breakfast as, that one statement. If we are supposed
king breakfast, as a princess lunchtime, as a beggar supper.
So why are we having skyrocketing diabetes and obesity in Kenya and in the world, if that worked? 2, which is the other question? Now nimesahau. Daktari, peas. So green peas are much better. Green peas are much, much better. They do not have a lot of sugar, and this is where, especially for vegans, actually for vegans, when they come to my consultation, we really spend a lot of time taking or looking into their history on how they eat, and we try to significantly, of course, to reduce how much starch they are taking, but also making sure that they get enough proteins from the legumes. So that's something we regulate, but green peas, green, not the dried one. Green one is much better.
Thank you, Daktari. For our Kenyan, the green peas, I think, is minji. I don't know what it is called in Swahili. Thank you so much, Daktari, for joining us today. We are quite humbled to have you today. We've posted our link, our chronic disease management link on your chat. Please, you can join the link and get in touch with us. What about Daktari oils? Did you comment something on processed oils? Nowadays, we have so many oils on the shelf. Maybe I missed it. I don't know which is correct, which is wrong. All of them are little oils.
I intentionally avoided that topic because, again, I'll tell you this. Avoid anything processed as much as you can. Avoid anything processed as much as you can. Number 2, take as natural as you can, especially when it comes to oils. Natural oil is that kuku na ngozi yake. Usitoe, why are you removing it? Don't. That is the best. I know, and that's why I avoided this topic, and I was hoping I will escape it. Don't. There is no research anywhere that has, in fact, clinical trials, now this is where clinical trials matter, show that eating natural fat, that nyama na mafuta yake, usiende ukaseme ukapewe ile minced meat enye haina mafuta. Chukua hiyo yenye inakaanga ni kama iko na kamafuta. Again, I'm not saying you go and indulge in fat, but what I'm saying is do not get scared with nyama na kamafuta. Kwanza hiyo nyama na mafuta yake na usiongeze hii external, that is the best. So as natural as possible, oil is the best. Those are olive oil, avocado oil, talao, a bit of cheese, but don't take cheese sana kama you want to lose weight. We use cheese to maintain weight. So those are things that now we, as I said, we personalize them when you come over.
I really wanted to avoid this question, Daktari, but somebody is on my neck. comment something about alcohol, spirits, and beer. Beer barley, I think. It helps to lose weight, so I hear. I don't know, maybe.
Well, the truth is, whiskey does not spike sugar, but the problem with the whiskey is damage to the liver. In fact, in our program, we recommend 1 or 2 glasses of wine. If you take alcohol, 1 or 2 glasses of wine, if you do, is not harmful. To be honest, that is much better than somebody eating chapati mbili na halale. That's the truth. But I'm usually very cautious because these things, food is very emotional to us, and our knowledge and our myth and our background is also attached to us. So new knowledge needs to be impacted differently. And this is what I'll tell you. If you take alcohol, 1 or 2 units, if you're a man, you need about 3 units. And 3 units is about 30 mils of wine. Just 30 mils of wine per day. So you can take 1 or 2 glasses in a day. And that has no impact on your liver, has no impact on your glucose. Very good, you feel good, you celebrate with your friends, and you sleep. The problem is Wakenya tunakanyagia crate chini. Unataka kumaliza a bottle of wine, unataka kulewa sijui ufikishe wapi. That is where the problem comes in.
Thank you. Hatutakanyagia chini tena. Daktari, what is your parting shot?
My parting shot my parting shot is that there is hope. You see, what I see in population is and this I'm talking from a patient's perspective, where they have visited so many places, they have come. You know, there is nothing bad as or hopeless as you going to see your nutritionist and you follow exactly what your nutritionist told you. Unaamka asubuhi ndoma, unaamka asubuhi sweet potato, cassava, brown ugali, brown chapati, saa saba brown rice. You know, you are exactly following exactly what your nutritionist told you or what your endocrinologist or diabetologist told you. But you're still frustrated every day with higher sugars. You're still gaining weight. You're still not sleeping well. You're still not feeling, your HbA1c is not well controlled. You're still seeing your uncle, your brother getting amputations. You're still visiting hospital and seeing people getting heart attack. This is where I come from. There is hope. There is a lot of hope. There is a solution. So don't lose hope, please. Just seek the right medical, scientific. And this I like saying because science does not change. We haven't discovered that science that we are looking for. And as long as science continues, we are able to help you and you're able to live a very hopeful life. Think where you want to be, think where you are now and where you want to be in 5 to 10 years. Otherwise, enjoy your morning.
For those who want to find you, you can once again tell us your location.
So we are located in 40 Suits, Thika and Naivasha. Our common number is 0111 056 056. 0111 056 056. If you call that number, it will prompt you to whichever branch that you are near to, and you will be able to reach us.
Thank you so much, Daktari. Thank you, Dr. Katambo, for that insightful, engaging presentation. We really appreciate the time and the expertise you have shared with us today. We remain in debt for you for taking us a mile further. To our participants, thank you so much for joining us and your active participation throughout the session. We hope you found the discussion valuable and applicable to our lives. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to share them and we will respond to them accordingly, which brings us to the end of our webinar. And we want to appreciate the APA management for allowing us to be able to host this today. On behalf of the medical team, Head of Retention, Sheila Gishui, Underwriting, Samuel Mugeke, Charles Mbugwa, who is our development head. We thank you so much for this opportunity. And not forgetting our own who has made it able for us to be able to present this, Head of Clinical Services, Jemima Mbuga, and our host here at Apollo Center, Banis Modoni, on behalf of Anne Njagi. Hope you can join us to complete your session next time so that we know the cost and the impact. And on behalf of my own, my very own colleague, Joyce Gatwiri, we are very grateful to all of you and wish you a lovely weekend. Hope to see you again the last Friday of May, and God bless you.